I got something like this, and my friend Mitch came over and pulled it, got it for me, but it pushes 300 pounds.
Wow.
See, feel this.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's built up paint.
It's built up this. Where the heck is it? Okay, it's this.
Okay.
And so,
molding paste.
Yes, molding paste. So what I'm gonna do with the other canvas is I'm gonna take this molding paste, make 2 angel wings, and I don't know what I want to do in there, but I want the angel wings to come out like this here, and all you see is the wings and the silhouette of a person, and I think that person will definitely be outer space. So this is
And this, are you doing this in acrylic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. This here is metallic.
Because it almost seems like, you know, back in the day when they used to do oil paint, it would just build up. But
yeah, this is metallic paint. You see this here?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go back over with the metallic paint because I kept dreaming about this freaking thing, and for like 2 years. And one time I just got up and I drew it on my table right there, and I said I'm gonna paint this one day. And last week was the day. So I don't know if this is going to be a baby. I don't know what this is going to be yet, but this is definitely happening.
This is what you're working on now?
Yes, this is a picture I was working on in another medium in oil, and it wasn't working. It just wasn't working, and I asked the guy here, Shelton, could I try it in acrylic, and voila.
Okay.
Acrylic.
What was the difficulty in working in oil?
I don't know, but this picture and this other picture I was working on, a dog, his name was Lucky.
Yeah.
I could not get this dog in oil, and the more layers I put on, the harder it was.
Yeah.
So I had to look at it and say, okay, this is not working. Let's talk to him, see if we can get a different picture. Let me try it in acrylic. And it worked.
Yeah.
So, thank God.
Yeah.
So I'm still working. I got to do the shoulders, and you know, it's not done, but I captured them. And once I captured the eyes, it's a done deal. So
that's the secret for doing like portraiture is the eyes.
Is the eyes and the spacing, and even here still the spacing and shoulders are too big. Yeah. This is too big, so I gotta chop. I just chop. And when I am done with this, I'm going to show in the beginning how it looked.
Yeah.
Because they never looked like this. They looked like some other people. So it always happens like that, though, when I do portraits or dogs.
Do you draw it out first? Or you, okay.
Yeah.
So portrait is not only the thing you do. And one of the things I notice is always when I see you work online on Facebook is your abstract work. That's something I really am interested in. And you have some of it here.
I have some here, and I'll explain the ones on the wall.
Yeah.
Okay, so
since you do an acrylic and oil, so you do both mediums.
Both mediums. Yeah. So this is called, I don't know what it's called, Birthing the Universe, but it's a woman, and she's birthing a child. It's down here. Okay. So it's going to be in space, like, and at a universal. That's what I'm saying. It's about, giving birth to life. And we are not just it. There's a lot of life going on.
So this particular painting, let's talk about what sort of the inspiration. And I mean, that is almost like a cliche that you say, where does the inspiration come from? But if you want to walk us through this one, like.
This came from the fact that our laws are changing about women able to have abortions. And, I disagree with that coming from, oh, you can't, da-da-da-da. And I don't agree with it. How can you tell a woman what to do with her body?
Yeah.
That would, that's ridiculous. So I don't speak a lot of how I feel, but I paint it because that's how I express my dismay. So that was the universe giving birth. And, you know, it's going to be a space picture. It's just going to be a lot, but the inspiration for this was, you know, we should be allowed to choose what and decisions we make with our bodies.
Now, when this idea came to you and say, oh, this is something I want to, you know, paint and want to do you draw it out? Or are you picking the canvas directly and just going at it? Or
I have to research babies, what they look like in the womb. And when I get a good picture of what I'm looking for, then I can paint, you know, and then I look at the breast and then I look at other clouds, other universe, you know, the telescope stuff. And that's how I learn. And then I go to YouTube and learn how to paint the universe.
Right.
And the universe is so vast. And that's how I learn. Yeah. You know?
What's the story behind this one? Because that's really interesting.
Yeah, this is a deep picture here.
Yeah.
This one, I was not as bad. About 2 weeks ago, I was going through some emotional stuff that had shocked me, and I felt very blue, and the hot pink kind of represents how deeply it was cut. I felt cut. It wasn't even like a neon pink. It was more like it was just so hurtful. And when like 3 days after I kind of got through it, I'm like, okay, now I see what the problem was, you know? So I'm going to come back to this because I love this color blue. And I love that I was feeling like this. I had to feel like this to get to where I'm at today.
So this is recent?
Yeah, this is like a week and a half ago.
Wow.
So it just shows you that, you know.
And you feel it's not finished?
No, I just have to add like heavier blues. And over here, I might want to add some more shiny blues, but I just need to keep building on it, you know, because that's how I felt, but that's not how I felt now, but I understand where it was coming from.
Right.
You know, so I love the pink colors because that expresses to me how I'm feeling. And this is very passionate, that color. So this was painted also around the same time.
Really?
And when I did this, I saw so much, right? So what I did is, like, I see this as a door.
Yeah.
Okay? So it looks like a window in a door, right?
Yeah.
Then over here, it looks like, you know, it's like, well, should we go down there? I don't know. It's kind of weird looking. The sky's white. And it's not done, but I'm going to probably have some heavier gold. And here, I went in here and I pulled the picture out. It's a sunset. And then there's the water. So what I'm doing with this is I'm reinventing it as I go back in it, as I see it, you know.
I'm seeing a figure here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And originally, that was supposed to be an elephant because that's what it looks like.
Yeah, now I see with the ears
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
the trunk.
Trunk, yeah. So, I mean, and this here is a doorway. This looks like a doorway and then you jumping through time, right? It's kind of, you know, I'm still playing with it and I'm re-evolving with it, you know? So that's that one. Now this one here is this is my, me and my friend, we have a bartering agreement.
Okay.
She is an organizer. Her name is Francesca. She comes up and she organizes my house.
So, I'm thinking like organizer for like events, not she organizes the house.
Well, she can, but she does the house thing and she's very good at it. Francesca Velarde. So this was the picture. She said, look, do your best. So I'm looking for cabin pictures, right?
Yeah.
And then I like this picture because it's going back in depth.
Right.
And I have areas with my depth perception. Okay, so this is going to be challenging, but I'm loving it because I never did anything like this. So I got
because you're jumping. I don't think. I guess you use genres almost because you're going from the abstract to something
right.
like landscape and nature.
Right.
And
So what I do is I'll go on YouTube, and I'll this. You know, I got to go to the master, Bob Ross.
you can't go wrong with Bob Ross.
Can't go wrong.
No.
You know, put a little tree over there. You know, I gotta watch him. So that's what I'm gonna do with this one. So hopefully next week I can kind of play with this. That's what I do with these right here. These here are all. This is the paintings for the guys. This is the paints for this. And then I have, you know, I do makeup and, you know, like jewelry, and I interact my art, trying to make it earth. So I got to work on my owls. I got a lot. I don't know.
You have a lot going on.
I don't know how people say they're bored. You know, I'm like, what are you bored at? You're bored? I don't even know what that word means. So this is this, right? Now, this was what I used to paint when I was in the Art Students League. And we did portraits, nudes, and still lifes. And so this is not done, and this is a funny story. I was painting this for someone, and I left it outside, and I had a cat at that time. Went to the bathroom, came out, and she had clawed into the canvas. I had to leave the house because I was so pissed. But, you know, as I went on, I found out that I couldn't fix it. So I fixed it.
How'd you fix it? Because you can't. I don't see any claw marks.
In the on the back of it, I will put what is that acrylic stuff? It's an acrylic gesso.
Okay.
I'll put a gesso on it, and it fills it.
Oh.
And you can't see through it.
Yeah.
So long as it's not like ripped.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm gonna fix it and I'll get back to it. You know, I'm afraid to put it on Facebook because, you know, I don't want to be. What is that word that they say you're always being and you're not? But I don't want to get kicked off because, you know, it's what is it? What is it? When they block you in Facebook land.
Oh, Facebook jail or something.
Yes.
Yes.
So I didn't want to paint on Facebook with it yet.
Right.
But these here, this I did with my left hand, and I just loved it because I love the colors. They're surprising, you know, and then all of a sudden it's blue, you know. That kind of reminds me of the other one I was on. This one, it wasn't supposed to be that, but what it is, because I had the steps, and I said, well, let me see if I can make it 12 steps. So I made it 12 steps, and at the bottom there, I show that's how you are when you first come into the fellowship. I'm just going to say that. You're broken. You're broken. You need help, and you're on the first step. You admit it, you know. So after you work all the steps, you see that little blue figure up there? Mm-hmm. That's rebirth. I felt like a child being reborn, and then I was ready to give love, and that's kind of how I felt, and that's what happened in that picture.
Well, we talked about on the radio before in the past that, and I hope you're okay if we would talk about it again, but you're still in active recovery. You're always in recovery.
Always.
And that's what I loved about your work is mostly it always felt real to me in a way that you know, you hear that I guess the corny notion that art saved my life or whatever, but this is physically it did. And it sort of gave you another purpose.
It really did.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't have done any of this before. I just wouldn't make the time for it. I didn't think I was good enough. you know, and I'm seeing, wow, you are good enough, you know. This one affected me because I used to, you know, live that lifestyle in the street, and this dude was huffing in the corner, and he was so hunched over, and I took 4 pictures, and it hurt me every time I took it. It's like if somebody was stabbing me.
Right.
And I would never use his face because I don't know whose uncle or father or son that is, you know what I'm saying? So I used the expression of death because that's what I saw. You know?
So this is like a person you saw here locally?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'm not going to say where,
Yeah.
but he was locally, and he was scrunched down, and he was huffing on this thing, and I could identify, and I just had to come. I came home and I painted him right away. Boom. I had to. So that's where inspiration came for that. This next one, this Africa piece.
Okay.
This, I had got these keys, and I wanted to do something with them, and you know, use them for other art. And what I did was, after I drew the Africa itself, I started thinking about how every country, I don't care, even Africa itself, they have robbed their self. Everybody's got their hands in Africa, okay? Every country, pink, blue, yellow, whatever.
Yeah.
So the keys are the representation of all the countries. The gems and all that is the people, is everything. It's what they've been taking. Now, if you look real close, right, you'll see money signs, and you'll see stick figures.
Those stick figures here.
Mm-hmm.
Is it bulging out a little bit? And
It might be from,
Yeah.
you know, the back hanging.
right. So what was the inspiration of this? You just wanted to comment on
It was basically, you know, what I said.
Yeah.
You know, every country in the world is robbing this country, right? And I'm sure there's a lot of corruption. You know, there's a lot of corruptions open for it. So that's my dismay over it, and I'm gonna say it. That's how I get my thing. Like, instead of just verbally saying,
Yeah.
well, my art says what my mouth doesn't.
Right.
You know, but it's powerful. This one is this is called The Key is Love. And I like painting the universe because I believe that's where I'm from. But if you get real close, you can see the keys all go to the heart.
Right.
And it's universal. The key is love, universal, you know?
And what are these spokes representing here?
Those are just like the spokes that turn. I forget the cogs
Yeah, right.
that turn, and it all just goes right there. So I'm working on some different stuff, but this frame,
Beautiful frame.
I didn't even know that it would match like that. And when I saw it, I was like, that's it. So these here, I'm not selling. I decided not to sell it. If people want to talk about it and, you know, have a group over it, let's go.
You ever thought of making like sort of prints for it so you could sell?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely make prints and sell my stuff for
Yeah.
sure. You
It's
know?
like something like this, so with the keys and the jewels and this.
Mhm.
I'm always interested in what came first, as far as like you saw these keys and it's I want to do something with these, or is it I painted this and I need something added, and so you went out and looked for it.
Well, I did the red, black, and green. Then I started with the keys on this one, right? And when I first started this one, I just had the keys on it. I didn't have anything in the background there. It was just black. And then I thought, you know, it's not it's not supposed to be just black. That needs to be the universe, because love is universal. And that's how that became that. Then I went back to this one, and I said, you know what? What's the meaning? What am I trying to say? And what I'm trying to say is exactly what you see.
Right.
And one lady, before I put the people in there, she was a tall Caucasian woman. She walked over to me at one of the Kanyanga Lake Festival. And she looked at it real close, and she goes, I used to live right here. And she pointed out where she lived. She said, this is a beautiful, beautiful piece, very profound. She said, but don't forget about the black people that was taken from there. I said, oh, absolutely not. So she said, figure out how to add more of about the people and money. So I said, I'm gonna think about that. So I went home and I ordered these little people, right? And I ordered them from Temu. If I tell you that they were so small. They were so small that I said, that's not gonna work. I can't even paint them brown. Right. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna draw it in. And some are hanging, some are not. But, you know.
To me, it sort of speaks to a little bit of how old the civilization is in Africa. And, you know, we hear that the cradle of life is in Africa. We all come from Africa in some aspect. It almost looks like, to me, almost like cave paintings, almost. Like,
yeah.
You know?
On the wall.
Yeah. That's what it always seems like to me.
Yeah, I never saw that one, but that's true. I see it. I
mean, that's the beauty of art. Like, you know, you have this idea of what you want to do, but everyone's going to bring their own life
spin
into it.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel when someone could look at this and say, they see something else or something?
I love it. Like before, it used to bother me because don't you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, right.
It's not my job to convince you. Okay, my job is to do with a painting. This is how I felt. If you can relate to it, or if you haven't, tell me.
Yeah. Because
maybe I see it, maybe I don't. Art is in the eye of the beholder. I get it.
Yeah.
You know, I get it.
Now, I want to talk about this space because this is where I see you mostly. And we talked about before that you started. Well, we'll talk more in our interview more about when you started doing work. But you've been you were trained at the Art Students League. Before that, were you any kind of artist training? I know you come from an artist background, but
because my father was a jazz musician, Hugh Brodie.
Right.
So he did art, and he showed me how to make the cartoons. And then I had this guy that lived up the hill from us. He drew like the comic books. And I used to collect comic books, and I wanted to draw like this guy. Freddie, help me. And I couldn't do it. So all I could do was trace over it. And then my father showed me, see that the body is 8 heads or 9 heads. Showed me how to do it. Next thing you know, my mother sees that I'm really interested in art. So Les Christ had, it was the building that's the art shop.
Right.
That building right there, that's all there was. He had an art teacher come in. So my mother went over, I think it was like, maybe back then, $5, every time.
What years we're talking about?
We're talking probably 70.
Wow. Because I know Les Christ has been there for a while.
78.
Wow.
You know, I was like maybe 12. So he had an art teacher there, and I would go there and paint, and it was like my safe place, you know. So that was the beginning. And then when I got in 6th grade, I had why did I forget her name? Miss Kavaleski. She was working in oil. She said, I'm going to teach you how to work in oils. She said, we're going to do you pick your famous artist, you paint the painting. I picked Mona Lisa. So I was like, okay. So I did the Mona Lisa. I did like maybe 3 or 4 coats, and it looked just like her.
Wow.
And I brought it in. I took it home to show my parents. And I brought it back, and she said, "You have a love for this?" I said, "This is all I want to do. I want to paint like Rembrandt. I want to paint like Da Vinci. It looks so real." So that was my goal. And my Art Students League situation was, honestly, my parents were annoyed with my behavior, and they sent my artwork to the Art Students League in a contest. And I won.
Wow.
So I'm out of here. I'm going to Paris. And then when I got down there and I seen that there was other artists that were better than me, I said, okay, I'll do the school thing for a little while. And then I would paint at night on West 4th Street. And all I did was paint and sell nudes. So.
And how old were you when you did that?
That was about 1920.
Okay.
I was 19 or 20. So I spent a couple of years in the city, getting my PhD in the street life, and I didn't care about art, I was in this fantasy world, and I would draw or paint here and there afterwards, but I had no interest. I had no interest. Once in a while I would draw something and, oh yeah, she's an artist. Yeah, this. So I wasn't pursuing it. And 2018, I had went on a boat ride with Ron Hyatt and his wife. And it was a bunch of us. So we went on this boat ride in Kanianga Lake. And when I came back, I started walking down the street in Kanianga. And there was a gallery to the left, and it said BCA Gallery. And I looked, and I said, "You're not good enough." And then I said, "Let's see." And I went in, and if I tell you that they embraced me and loved on me and helped me and mentored me and gave me paints when I didn't have them, and canvases, and they just pushed me in, and they believed in me when I didn't believe in me. So I owe a great deal of gratitude to them, Adrian, Terry, Sarah. I know I'm going to miss some people out, but there was a lot of angels that God sent me that are still with me, so I'm still growing. I did the show at the library last year, and that I feel like that every day. I am recreating myself.
Right.
With whatever I'm doing. And I approach everything like a big kid because I never did it. So I have an angel wing picture I want to do. It's got this something like a paste, and I just want to do the angels, and I'm sure the space is going to be in there somewhere.
Yeah.
But I'm always creating.
This has become sort of your I guess your safe haven now, and then you sort of opened it up to the world. You went to Facebook Live.
Yeah, so funny. This table, I designed it, right? And I gave it to my friend who's a construction brother, right? And I wanted this so I could spin around,
right?
Boom, boom, boom. And he built it for me, It was amazing. So, what was the question? Oh, so I went live. There was a friend I was following. She was a physical fitness guru, food, everything. She was amazing. Her name was Stony Godley, and I still check on her from now and then. And she had said, "You need to go live." And I'm like, "Live? Who's going to watch that?" And this was in 2019, the end of 2019, right before COVID.
Yeah.
And I said, "I don't know, I'll try it." And I did, I tried it, and it was very, amateur. And I didn't know what I was doing, but I tried it. when COVID hit and everybody was home, I came in, I didn't know anything about canvases, big. All I knew was 8 by 10. So that's what I painted. And I was painting everything that I saw a picture of, because that's how you learn. I can look at a picture or a person one time and like, okay. But so I did that, and it was amazing. It was amazing, and it's still amazing. I don't even care if there's not 20 people on there. There's people on there that watch and don't, put their name in. That's fine. I'm just showing you what I do and having fun with it and being in peace with it. That's why.
Voice out.
That's why I paint. I put that soft music on because it calms me down and it stops me in here, in here, my head. Some weeks I have to have 2 therapy sessions. And I don't feel bad about that.
Right.
Because the way what's happening in the world today, I don't want to be scared to death all the time.
Right.
So, how do I make myself feel good? What is self-esteemable for me is I'm going to get my pedicure. That's taking care of myself, just so many little things, even cleaning my house. It's so hard because I'm trying to do a business by myself. So that means everything that I paint, I have to sign. I have to, how are we going to get this done? I switched over last year and they sold really okay to magnets, my artwork on magnets. And I didn't know if it was going to, be a hit, but it is. It's okay. People are buying it. And it's, it's $10.
Right.
People can't afford. It's either $10 of toilet paper or $10 in a bag of rice. Which one are people going to buy?
I understand that art pieces have, a lot of value and the work that goes into it, but sometimes I feel like it's a little overblown. Especially, I used to be really big and go to a lot of art galleries in the city and just the price is just ridiculous. And I had the same effect with you as far as like my thing is photography,
right?
And try to make it. I did some small group shows down in the city, but when I came up here, it was so accepting of my artwork, and I went to the gallery. My first gallery was the Worthport Art Alliance.
Oh, okay.
And I remember going there one day, and I said, "Yeah, I would love to exhibit here. What's the king?" And he said, "Just bring one of your pieces,
right?
Put it in a group show." And I brought it off. He grabbed it, turned it around, and boom! And it goes, "There you go." And I was like, and at that time, I was like, "Wow!" Coming from the city was so hard to get on the wall.
Yes.
And here it was a different story because it's less people.
Right.
It's more accepted in the community, and it's as Sullivan County has a really great. I think it's not talked about enough. Huge art community up here.
Oh.
Talking about the BCA.
I saw some artwork over when I did the Calicoon. I think it was it's called a instant something or quick show or something. I forgot the name. But when I went over there and I had my work up there, I was looking at the other artists and I'm like blown away because I love painting tigers and lions and I love all the animals.
Yeah.
This dude was so good that when I look at when I get up on a picture and I go like this, that means it's good. Like I'm in awe.
Right.
And the depth and he did the whole African scene. It was just beautiful. And I told him, I said, "Wow, you are amazing, and I really appreciate your artwork."
Yeah.
There was a time I couldn't do that. I'm not complimenting him. He's better than me.
Right.
Like the person I am today, it's beautiful. And about 25 years ago, when my girlfriend's brother said, "Look, this lady is looking for art in Soho, blah, 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 here's her number." So I said, okay. So I call. And she goes, she said, send me some art pictures. So I sent her a couple pictures, and they weren't up to par, but they were there.
Right.
So I sent it to her, and she goes, oh, this is absolutely not what we're looking for. When she said that, I said, I'm not doing none. So between that and wanting to, live the life of Riley, I didn't paint for 25 years.
Wow.
So when, 2018, 19, when this thing was happening, I didn't know I was gonna be able to paint stuff like that. I didn't know I was ambidextrous. I didn't know. So now what happened in the beginning, the first year, second year, I wanted to paint everything to make up for lost time. And I was like, I couldn't stop. I was like, I gotta paint it. And now, I'm just making sure I'm signing everything,
Right.
and I'm just enjoying it. I'm having fun.
That's the most important part, I think.
Yeah.
Fun. So one thing I wanted to ask you is we talked about a little about how art has become therapy. There's the word of art therapy, stuff like that. But for you, it has really become therapy for you, a different type of therapy.
Yes, absolutely.
And we talked about in the past that you're in recovery, and how, if you wanted to explain how art has played into your recovery and sort of giving you a sort of a new life.
I'd have to say that it slowed me down, and it still does. It slows me down because I know that I can be very manic-y, and if I start painting like 3 paintings a night, and I already know what's happening, so it slows me down. I have to stop. It's been important in my recovery because there's some things that I really, really can't voice my opinion to, but I know how I feel inside. I feel sad, I feel joy, and I'd like that to come across in some of my abstracts. There's certain blues that are mesmerizing to me, and that's what I want to create, something mesmerizing, and that you can feel and say, oh, that's beautiful. That makes me feel beautiful, So it's definitely, I paint how I feel, and the therapy part is like a given, and sometimes I forget that I'm live, and I'm just lost, and that's amazing because when I finish painting, I'm in a different head. I'm not in the head of judgment. I'm not in the head of fear. I'm not in the head of everything that I go through during the day. When I sit down and paint, it evens it out.
Yeah, that's amazing to feel. I definitely can relate to that as far as feeling that out of body almost experience, that whatever is going on in the world stops, and you're able to focus for like an hour or two like that.
Yes.
And that's an amazing feeling. Has to be an amazing feeling.
It's, you know what? It's so freeing, because I thought that I could change what's happening in the world, and I can't, but how I can change me is to be kinder, not as judgmental, to be the opposite of what I fear. And art helps me do that. I've been working on this painting for 2 years, and the brother was very, very, he said, take your time. He knew I had 2 shoulder surgeries.
Yeah.
He said, take your time, and he's been really just cool about it. But when I saw that it wasn't working anymore, and I called him and I was like, look, man, I gotta be honest with you. I don't like how it's coming out. And he said, well, then what can, I said, do you mind if I start it over? It won't take 2 years to finish if I do it in acrylic. He said, yeah, go ahead. This has been 3 weeks. So I'm like trying to get it done. It's, I don't know what the heck I was thinking. Oil has always been friendly to me. It just turned on me.
So most of these paintings are oil?
No, these are all acrylic.
Right.
Yeah, these are all acrylic, except for the butt.
Right. I mean, I remember working, because I growing up as a kid, I tried every art form. Very inspired by also the same thing as Bob Ross. And the only thing I found difficult about oil was just the cleanup.
I hated the cleanup.
The chemicals, you have to get that and all that. And also, it just wouldn't take forever to dry.
It took, like, I use this stuff here as Gal Kid.
Yeah.
And yeah, it could 2 days, it'll be dry, but it's not thick. It's not, I have to put more and more and more layers. So it was taking so long, and the layers were just building up as paint, so I just said, okay, enough of this. When it's working, it works. When it's not, it doesn't work. And from now on, like, I'm gonna do the pet portraits up till April, and then after that I have to get ready for the festivals. So it's really a lot of work. And last year I knew I have to do something different.
Yeah.
That's why I started doing the magnets, because I was coming home, and when I came out the car, I know they have cameras and everything, but I was walking like I had Parkinson's. Like I couldn't, whatever was going on with me, I had to grab and walk along the wall. So yeah, drink more water, make sure I'm eating, but I overdo it.
And it's a good thing you are doing magnets, because what I found when I was doing festivals is that the folks who come up here really just want something to sort of take home with them. And some of them may not want to spend $60 or $100 on painting, but they could buy a magnet, they could buy a postcard, so like that. Yeah.
And
that's smart.
That's why when I tried it out as gifts first. And a lady, she was so sweet. She passed recently, but she said, "You need to charge $30 for these. This is beautiful." And I looked at her, I said, that would have been great maybe 15 years ago, but I can't charge that now. There's no way. So, I just see how it's selling. And what I used to do is make copies of my work, and it was this big, and I would sell them. And I still have a few, but people, $13, $12, okay, well, I can buy beans and, for my family.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking now, like, the bigger stuff to take. And even in the festivals, I have to find a way that if it blows over, because the wind is my worst enemy. And when the wind blows, that's it. And then it messes up the frame. So I'm trying to think of, well, maybe I shouldn't take them ones that are framed.
Right.
Take a picture of it. I have the pegboard, which is great. But, I have to consider how I'm unloading the car. And most time it's me. Some people help. They say, "Oh, you want some help?" Yeah, they help out, thank God. But when you're by yourself, that's kind of what I'm trying to do, is get everything on sale, because I know that times are tight, and a lot of things are changing. So this is my easy place. This is a guy named Gabriel. What is his last name? Anyway, I asked, he's a beautiful artist, abstract, beautiful. And he said, I said, what do you think about that, Gabriel? What should I do? He said, look, have fun. Whatever you're doing, have fun. So when I paint a serious painting, like I'm working on this is serious. It's a flow, right? When I do my abstract stuff, I have fun, you know. Another thing I hate about rendering is you have to have a spiel, right? Yeah. And after you say this spiel about 800 times, the lady came up and I said, hi, this is my original artwork. I said, oh, wait. No, this is my magnets on artwork. And I couldn't get it together because I had said it so many times. And basically it's just, this is my artwork on magnets. Professionally, I have like what I do like with the portraits. This is my professional work. And my abstract and all that stuff is behind me, and the owls. I said, that's my fun work. And I have fun doing the owls. You know, I got to work on some owls too now. But I mean, I'm no longer in a rush to paint something, you know, like I was painting, it was like my kids. You know, like I don't have any like biological kids, but these are like my babies, you know. So I make sure I sign them. Sometimes I sign them before it's even done, because you don't know what's going to happen. I could go out there and this is my father. I could pop any minute. Yeah, that's what he used to say to us, you know. So,
you know, you grew up with a father who's an artist, who's a musician. You know, how was that life growing up with someone who had an art that he was able to express himself in, but also was a job, because that was he did for a living, right?
Yeah.
How's that played into your life?
It's played in my life between that and recovery. You know, I'm not as judgmental towards him as I used to be. You know, there's things that, you know, I would never say that. You know what? Considering where he came from, my mother from the Depression era, him Depression era, you know, playing with your schoolmate in the morning and then coming home and at night going to play, the schoolmates hanging on a tree. This is my father's life as a kid. So he tried to protect us. He tried to school us, you know, all the stuff that you're reading about now that was going on in slavery, that was people were accomplishing. We didn't do that in school. We didn't know that there was lawyers and all that, and doctors. You know, so, you know, he was very informative. His favorite saying was, every government is a gangster and everything is a con. And I was like, no, that can't be true. You know, it's got to be some good somewhere. Right. And there is. There's yin and yang in everyone. So I'm trying not to have any expectations on the world. You know, there's good people and there's bad people. The bad people have to be compartmentalized because I can't control that. The goodness I need to see. That's why my page is about painting, love, the doggies, the people. We do funny stuff. You know, I like to put stuff up that's healing and loving and fun. You know, the games I put up. You know, my page has changed as I have changed. You know, and I'm better for it.
You know, it was sad to hear when you told me earlier that someone's comments made you stop creating work, and it's amazing how, you know, she might after that never thought of you again, but it affected you, you know, profoundly. I mean, I think about my own life, you know, things that my own father has told me, you know, it still affects me to this day. But now you're making up for lost time.
Yeah.
So the reason I bring that up is now that, your father, obviously is no longer with us anymore. How do you think he would view your stuff now if he was alive here and seeing you sort of your rebirth, if I could say that?
Yeah. Yeah. I think he would be really proud, you know. Yeah, I could hear him saying, I told you. But I didn't hear it,
Yeah.
because how he told me. I was, 16. But even when the lady had said that, this is absolutely not what we're looking for, I was expecting that, It's like, I'm no good. See, she said I'm no good. So that helped me not paint, right? And then I had chose, the relationship, the job, all that stuff. And my stuff, and being in recovery, I chose to be involved with all the outside stuff, and I missed the inside. I missed Hassina, So now, I think I ran into an old friend of his, and we were talking about something. I said, I would love to do what my father did one time. He was playing the saxophone by himself, and the artist behind him was painting him, like and he was bebop jazz. And whenever I listen to jazz or bebop jazz, it's like I feel it and I paint it, right? And I like music that doesn't have any words, because the feeling is more pure for me. That's the color I'm presenting. It helps me. He would be really proud. He would be really proud, if he was in his right mind. He had dementia, and, that's kind of, dementia is like the worst to some degree. But he would definitely be proud, and he would probably have me set up behind with canvas, playing as he's playing, and yeah, I've done a lot of work. I've done a lot of work because there was a time I was very angry with my father, and I blamed him for A, B, and C, and D and E. And, granted, I was going to write Daddy Dearest. That's what I was going to do. But, after you do some work on yourself, you're like, wow.
You realize that he was a human being, and he had his own issues to deal with.
If you ever saw JoJo Dancer.
No, I haven't seen that.
It's JoJo Dancer. Is Richard Pryor's in it.
Okay. And
that's how my father was raised. Okay. And, I don't know how long, but, he had to take care of his elderly mother who was mentally ill, and so we carry all that stuff. And back then, they didn't have like, oh, come on, we accept your insurance for therapy. No, you smoked a joint, you drank, or you took a nerve pill.
Right.
And that's what it was.
Especially for a man, you don't really deal with that and talk about it.
So, yeah, I've so forgiven him, because I don't think I could have been half the parent that he was, because we all have that part that is human. We're infallible. And I accept that part, that I'm not going to be perfect in every area, My father he wasn't the greatest in delivery. Him and my mother, they weren't the greatest in delivery, but I know the love was behind them. But he used to tell me, you're stupid. Do you know you could stay home and paint and get paid for it? And I didn't know what he was talking about.
Right.
I was stuck on the fact that you said I was a stupid ASS.
Yes.
That I was messed up. You hurt my feelings. I totally missed. He was saying I'm that talented. He was giving it to me.
Right.
But I didn't hear it. So when I was at my show,
Well, that's tough to hear from a
it
parent.
is
Yeah.
at 16,
Yeah.
you know? So when I was at the show at the library, I said, I'm gonna play his music in the background. And as it's playing and people were coming in, and it was such an amazing moment for me that I just looked at the radio that was playing the music and I started to tear up because he did say I was good enough.
Right.
That's what he was saying. And it dawned on me when the music was playing and I looked around and I said, oh man, what a time for me to have a sensitive moment.
You never felt the need to or want to pick up an instrument since your father was in music?
I did.
Okay.
We had a piano because he played piano. That's how he did a lot of his writing. So, of course, because I want to be like Daddy.
Yeah.
When he was shaving, I went and got the butter knife and put the soap on, and I was like that, Daddy. So I was the girl that went and got Mom's shoes and look, Ma. That was not me. You know, I wanted to be everything like my dad because he had such swagger. He was so handsome. He was just...
Well, even today, like you notice your hair is like your father's. The
Yeah.
pictures I've seen of your father.
Let me tell you
Yeah.
something. I have decided to grow my hair out into an afro. And the more I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, I look just like my dad. And, you know, it's okay. You know, it's okay. I wanted to play the piano. So I'm practicing and he's showing me, this is when he even labeled it. D and this and this and that. And that. My fingers are not long enough to do all that. But I would make up little songs as a kid. Daddy, look, Daddy. It was like me doing the texting.
Yeah.
And then I picked up the guitar. And I really loved the sound of the guitar. But I really hated the sound that I played. I just didn't have the dexterity, the finger thing. But I loved instruments. I love instruments. I love painting instruments. If I could just paint a straight line. Yeah.
When you're painting, do you think about, you know, legacy or anything like that as far as like, because now you're sort of making up for lost time, and where do you see yourself like, you know, 10 years from now or 5 years from now? You know, we're all going to be living on this earth.
Yes.
That's the most important part of it.
Yeah.
But do you think about like the legacy, like the life you lived and you
Yes, especially now because I feel like I shortchanged myself, but then at the same time, I'm getting this now right when I'm supposed to get it. You know, the angels are aligned. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People they're already there to help me. You know. Yes, the legacy is the paintings that I don't sell. Those are my babies. Those are, I hope the ones that I did sell, like I sold, this lady asked me to do the eagle. Hey, Susie. She asked me to do an eagle, and then she had asked me to do her horse and her dog. And behind on her property is a waterfall. And she'd asked me to do that. So there's 4 paintings I did for her that are amazing. Amazing. That was like the best work. Then the portrait of the lady with the turban, her name was Marlene, I think. And she's a real person. She's up in Kingston, I think, or Poughkeepsie. And she does Nina Simone impersonations. And she's on stage. She's in theater. I haven't seen her yet. And God darn it. So this, her painting, her portrait painting, to this day, I look at it and I'm like, and it took me 7 weeks.
Wow.
And I'm
Only
like,
7 weeks.
Only 7 weeks. And I'm wondering to myself, well, how the hell you can't do 3 guys? You know, and I had to not compare because it was a smaller, different painting, you know. But legacy, I hope that people loved my artwork enough to hang it, you know. This guy bought this painting last year. It was called Circles of Love. And you guys saw me painting it, and I laid it out, and there was a couple of people who were like, I don't get it. And I said, you don't have to get it. It's about my depth perception. So I went to go pick it up to take it to a festival, and these guys that had won a prior event, won one of my owls, they were talking about the painting. Oh, I love it. I think it's gorgeous. Da, 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 da. So I'm looking at them like, hey, guys, how you doing? Hey, we're just trying to figure out who the artist is here. I can't see the name. I said, it was me. And he said, oh, my God, you did that. They bought the painting.
Oh, wow.
And they sent the painting to my friend and said, this is how it is on our wall. And I'm amazed. I'm so amazed that is a legacy. The lady from Greece, from Athens, she was here with her friend that lives up here, and she loved this owl. And she said, could you change the eyes to my logo? And she was a psychoanalyst. So I said, that's different.
Right.
I said, okay, let me see the logo. She showed me the logo. I came home. I painted inside the eye, the ball, her logo. Mm. She loved it. And she said, I'm hanging it up in my office. In her office in Greek Athens. And I'm like, holy cow, somebody's going to have my stuff internationally? Yeah. You know, those are my babies. This piece, after I did the first one, I kind of got like what I wanted to do. This was the first one.
Oh, there's a person. I didn't even notice that. There's a person there.
Yeah, because I was doing a woman series. So that was the first one. Then I did this one. And this is a bottle, and there's a person in the bottom of it, like the tequila with the worm. Mm-hmm. So this is a person basically being marinated by alcohol. And then this is the Women's Day. It symbolizes the colors. Yeah. And what else? And I wanted to represent groups of people, you know. I was in a weird state. I was so sad about what was going on between Ukraine and all over the world when that first happened, that I couldn't stop painting these. I'm talking like 3 o'clock in the morning, getting up and painting these. There's 10 more pieces that are like this. They didn't get into the crux yet. I don't even know how to get this mounted. I'm trying to find out. That's what I would like to do, is if anyone knows how to get this connected and mounted, please let me know, because right now this came about. I was vacuuming and I started stacking them against this canvas that's 60 by 100. And I stacked them just to get them out the way so I could vacuum. And then I stood back and I said, oh my God. And I took a picture and I sent it to my friend Sarah and Terry. And they were like, oh my God, that's amazing. Yeah. So it was accidentally put up like this, but it was meant to be put up like this. I just don't know how to connect it together as a unit, you know? It's got pretty much, not every, but some cultures' flags.
Yeah. I guess this is Irish?
Yes.
Irish,
Yes.
Cuban.
Mm-hmm.
You got Puerto Rico here, some space. Africa? I don't know.
Yes.
Okay. Jamaica here?
Mm-hmm. And this is Ukraine.
Okay,
And
yeah,
this
the
is
yellow.
the pride flag.
Yeah.
And we got the Italian. I think this is the Italian.
Yeah, that would be Italian.
Yeah.
Okay, we can go Mexico if you want to go.
Yeah. So some are just like this one here. This came out of this, because when I painted this, I was looking at the floor when I walked out of my building, and the floor was the same as this, like the colors. So I said, oh, wait a damn minute. So I ran in here and I cut up this piece of red paper I had, and I put it on 2 separate parts of the floor out there in the hallway.
Yeah.
And it looked just like it. It looked just like it. So it was just, these little squares, they have pictures in them. Like there's things going on in them. If you look at it real close and then squint your eyes, pull back, that looks like a red winter, But you gotta seek for it. You gotta look for something.
Yeah.
People sometimes don't want to look. They're like, well, if it doesn't look like a dog, then it's not.
Right.
No, look at the trees in there. Look at the worlds that it takes you in, And I'm a big one for getting the hell out of this world. Like this here, I just noticed this. This looks like a man, right?
Yeah.
Right here. That looks like a man with like an Abe Lincoln, that type of, with the hat, It's so funny how, different textures, different shadows.
Well, even like here, like this sort of has like the Mexican colors, and then what's going on with the world today. You could almost, these colors are missing. The blood and stuff like this is all coming out. Oh, sorry, I mean to touch you.
It's all right. Yeah, it's something,
Like I said, we talked about earlier how folks bring the other stuff, whatever they have, whatever baggage they have.
Yes.
So their own work.
Yes.
So.
That's why I'm not willing to carry somebody else's bag right now, because my bag is kind of heavy.
But you're getting it out.
But this is what I'm saying. I never knew that I was using it as art therapy.
Yeah.
And it's great, because even though I'm doing the portrait, I haven't done it in 2 days. I needed to take a break so I could see what I'm missing.
Right.
So when I go back to it tonight, I'll like, oh, I didn't see that before.
Right.
That's why it's never done. When I look at it and I'm like, wow. Then it's done. Yeah. But this one and this here, I started these squares the same time I did this one. Now this one is not for sale.
Right.
But I was having like an emotional meltdown. And I said, what exactly am I crying for? And I said, I'm crying for the world. That's what I'm crying for. And I painted that. And let me just tell you, I don't do straight lines well. That's the first freehand circle that I have ever done. Freehand.
Come on, good.
So that was, what was that, 2022?
22, yeah, March 10th, 2022.
Right. This was 2020. It's called 2020 Scream.
I like that one.
And I just cannot sell it yet, because I still feel like that. And I do everything, thank God I do go to therapy, to not continually live like that.
Right.
You know, I don't want to be feeling like that, you know. So I put it in a compartment where it belongs. And when I feel like this is when I call my sponsor, I call my support group. And, by the time I work it through, it's like, okay, I did therapy, I did this with my support group. I did my footwork.
Right.
Now the rest is up to God, man. I can't mess with it. I ain't got no good draw.
Well, what has that meant to you, to finding our community up here that has been accepting to you and it has been encouraging you and helping you through your process, through your journey?
Whew. Yeah. Richard, he's on the board of the library. He helped me so much last year. He said, "No, I want you to do a show at the library." And, again, it's that little question, am I good enough? So he pushed me really hard, and I learned how to hang my pictures. I learned how to make the frame. I learned how, thank God to Jessica from Christ Art Company. I worried her to death for 2 weeks, and she showed me.
It's very interesting also that you're still going to Les Chris. He's been here for so long. And
absolutely. Absolutely. When I go in there, I'm like, hey, Les, and we give a hug. And I go up, see my girl.
And he's still around kicking and.
Oh, my God.
He also beat cancer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I've known him so long. He took me, invited me, and I didn't even think it was going to happen. But he took me to the Met.
Really?
I'd never been to the Met, and he had asked me. He said, "But didn't you live in the city and do that?" I said, "Yes. I went to school down here, and yes. But you gotta understand, Les. I was chasing my PhD in street history. Okay, I didn't know what the Met was. I didn't even want to see any art." So I was in the Met, and everything out my mouth was, "Oh my God, oh my God, how did this lady posed as a man?" I mean, the picture is like long. The horses are huge. She posed as a man to go to this thing every day to sketch, and she wrote the colors down to sketch and make this painting. And I can't even for the life of me think of what it was, but I know I stood there for like 5-10 minutes in awe because I'm painting from pictures.
Right.
Okay? They are doing this stuff amazing. It's like they have a picture and they don't.
Right.
So, yeah. That community, the Hurleyville Arts over there, they've been great with me. Last year I did a festival with them, and I think before that I did the Pride Festival. So I have a lot of love for them. They always keep me abreast and, hey, how you doing? Da, da, da. This is what's going on. Can you attend? So I'm in that process now, and it's kind of hard. Like just the in and out of it daily is hard. A lot of the community, especially Les Chris, the BCA, if I don't know how to do something, I called this guy, his name is James Hawley, and I call him and I say, look, I have to call him and I have to call my friend Mitch because I have been known to do things in my apartment that could kill me, okay? I'm like epoxying. I will never do that again.
Yeah.
Okay? Unless it's outside. And I had got greedy in my head and had the table set up. It was a mess. And so when I called my friend Mitch, that used to own Cooper Paints.
Okay. Yeah.
He's one of my besties too. And I called and told him what happened. He said, "And you're calling me a a week later, you have to call the company now. So, I called the company and got it together, and it was rectified, but I know now to call other people when I have these bright ideas. I didn't know how to use wood glue. I didn't know how to do a lot of things that I suck at math. So, of course, you have to measure stuff.
Yeah.
So even with the baking, it's like you have to measure, and it messes me up. I had a lot of trauma around math. So I'm like the special ed student. That's how I am with math. It messes me up. So I'm always checking, and the community has been great. Like guys that I went to school with, they've bought some paintings in the summer. They've come up, I gotta support Hassina Brodie, and so the community has been fantastic. I can't even complain.
Yeah. The older you now, the one you are now, could talk to the younger version of yourself, what would you tell her?
You are the best artist I know. And you can do this. Put down the drugs, put down the alcohol, and paint like your heart needs it. I would tell myself that. Like, stay in school. Stay in school. Don't run after that PhD in the street life. But if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be who I am now. So I have forgiven myself, but the last year I've stopped trying to hurry up and paint stuff. Like, well, if I don't finish it, what if I die? What if I die tomorrow? That used to run through my head. I'm finally doing what I need to do and I should have been doing, and always the worst scenario. You know what? All we all have is right now. This is all we got right now. And for me, I know that this is my art studio, my whole little thing. This is a mansion to me. Imagine people out there that don't have this. They don't have peace of mind. Even they have this and don't have peace of mind. I am content, honestly. I'm content. I'm content not being in a relationship because I have nothing to give, okay? Because I've robbed me so long that now it's time to take care and soothe and heal Hassina, and all my weaknesses, because I'm not perfect,
If someone's listening to this and or watching this, who might be interested in getting into art or hesitant to even pick up a paintbrush or take a photograph or whatever, because they may not think they're good enough, or where to begin, what advice would you give them?
Call me. No. Paint. I have a couple friends of mine that they have talent, but they don't want to put it to the canvas. I don't know, it's almost like they have that fear.
Scared.
Yeah. And I'm like, I bet you can paint your butt off. Paint. Just put colors up there. Just put how you feel. You don't have to make a specific thing.
Right.
Just paint the colors you feel. If those colors make you happy, go with it. If something makes you feel pretty, handsome, go with it. Do it. Put the color on today. Why are you waiting? Paint is not inexpensive.
Right.
Especially if you're doing like heavy acrylics, it's expensive.
The brushes alone are I've seen the prices. I go to Michael's and see the high end to the low end. It's amazing.
The prices are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay.
You ever thought of doing this is called plein air?
Plein air, yes.
Yeah, you ever thought of doing that?
Yes, I do, and I have the whole plein air thing.
Yeah.
I would love to do it. I just haven't. I haven't done it for the physical reasons.
It's tough because you're out there and outdoors sometimes, and
because
uneven places.
Because I wanted to do when they were doing the wall over there on Broadway.
Okay.
I wanted to
murals?
sign up to do that, but how can you do that if you can't do this?
Yeah.
And I couldn't do this then.
Yeah.
And that was like 2 years ago. So I just, I used to paint murals. I painted the mural. Do you remember that mural? It used to be a liquor store right on Broadway.
Okay.
And there was this long thing that said it was Roger Rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
And that was me.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That was my artwork. So I've done the big stuff, but I'm older and I could paint a child's room because there's parts of my house where you're going to see little bumblebees.
Right.
And that's because that's where I had ripped off the thing that was holding up the thingy, the hook.
Yeah.
And it ripped the paint off. So I said, well, I need to make that look presentable. So I saw these cute little bees and I said, I'm going to paint those little bees up there. And so wherever you see a little bee,
Some more damage.
yeah.